Hey guys, all right, it's 12:32. I have some time. I'm going to do a quick little midday update. So take a look at the disclosure before we get going. Look, 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 look. All right, let's get right to it. Um, Hopefully you guys did okay. Look a little different in the morning, a little more beat up. Definitely was not a great day, just as far as continuity. Like as traders, you like continuity. You like when, something closes strong the next day, or then, obviously that was Friday, Monday, gap open, and you could sell into it, or you're down a little bit, you could buy some, it goes green and pushes, so you're not trapped in it. Today felt as if there was definitely a bunch of traps that hurt some traders, and also I guess some things made sense, based on how they, traded last earnings or last week. You kind of figured that, Amazon would be in the penalty box. We figured Facebook would be out of play. But once Amazon broke the post earnings low, which is why it's always a very important pivot, lots of things just got sold, whether they had good earnings or not. So I guess just the algos took it. So now we're trying to figure out, can things by themselves be swing trades, or do we have to have, a lot less risk on? So let's go over here first. So this is Twitter. Twitter at this point, hanging in there with the doji. Here's your gap, so it's still protecting the gap, and I'm in it. It's one of my few trades. I'm now in this stock versus options. I'm sorry if you hear people in the background. That's T3 Live. But overall, I'd really like this to hang in here and then potentially continue to go. That'd be a nice follow-through trade. We did really good with the options, but now let's see if I could flag and go. We'll see. Just here's Amazon. So this is what happened with Amazon. 1924 was big, right? 1924 was the post earnings low, which just happened on Thursday into Friday. And then today, if you were thinking short, which you could have, right? It didn't fill the gap from Friday. You could add a nice short when it went below 1924. Now your next area here really is like 1870. If the market wants to really sell off this afternoon, first of all, this is the weakest one, so it's not the one that you try and buy. You could definitely see this 1870 area and maybe even lower at some point. You could draw this across. But if, again, once this 1924 was broken, everything else was kind of sold. I was long a little Google, and, all of a sudden you saw offers coming in from all the machines. So anyway, 1870s right here. And then what is this? This is low 1818. So we'll see. We'll take it along the way. At this point, momentum is gone. It's a headwind for the market right now until it's not. So if you're short, just make sure it stays below, 1900, and then maybe there's that, and then here's this. Google, kind of tried to hold on. At first I tried the stock, and then I'm like, you know what? It could go into the gap. I don't want to really nickel and dime this thing for 10 bucks back and forth. So basically, I bought some options. I bought the 1270 calls. When I do a swing trade, I'm trying to figure out, like, can it be special? Is it worth holding? There'll be day trades in there, and how can you hold it? So if Amazon's gonna go down another 60 points, I don't want to be, caught in Google if it all of a sudden gives way. So for me, I bought the 1270s, because in my head I'm thinking, if this market doesn't fall apart, which it could, who knows? Maybe August will be a bearish month. If it doesn't and it wants to go, I would think that at some particular point, this 1290 area gets taken out, and in order to do that, it's going to have to get above 1270 first. If it can hold above this gap and go sideways, hey, maybe there'll be some FOMO there, and maybe it'll be a vehicle to go back to those highs. If it all of a sudden gets in the gap and things just start getting weaker, then the options will go worthless, and I'd rather not get chopped up trying to trade it unless it's acting special. Facebook, to me, looks like it's in jeopardy of heading lower. I actually tried to short this, and I got squeezed, and probably later maybe it works for some of you guys. Seems like, why wouldn't it get down to 192? Big outside day, but getting below the moving averages. This type of same thing. Maybe if you don't want to get chopped up and you're like, okay, I think this is going to be 5 points lower, buy some puts, so this way you're not involved with the noise. But overall, looks like more bearish than bullish. Apple, I wound up being a good trade today. I actually bought some. Let's see. I bought some going through 210 just for a trade. First time I did it, it lost. Second time I made 40, 50 cents. I got out of the way. It looks like it could be higher. Earnings are tomorrow, so we'll revisit tomorrow. I'm having a problem, just with my thought process for Apple now. One thought process is like, how could they be selling well in China? You know, this has been going on for a while. So if the Chinese didn't, if they were ignoring the trade war now, if they're feeling the effects, maybe they do turn a little bit against Apple. But then, you see news that in the fall they're going to have two more phones and it's going to be 5G. So maybe there is an upgrade cycle. And then you have the buyback and the dividend, and then this too hasn't done a whole heck of a lot. So I was thinking about buying puts, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to waste $5 grand or $7 grand if I'm wrong. I might as well just see how it reacts and trade it accordingly. It has come a long way from 170 up to 210, so that's 40 points, but it's still, this is the prior high here, and it's still fundamentally really cheap. But anyway, we'll see where it is tomorrow. We'll see what kind of, what kind of strategy we could have. And then in the cloud names, I know Barron's had a negative, article on cloud software. If you were in them for a breakout, it got hurt. I don't like to take those things that much because I always feel like they're one day up, one day down. When they're their worst, they go higher. When they're their best, they go lower. So I stay away. But I charted for you guys. This TTD, that's very hard. For it to break above 258, close strong. I would just say 1, 2, third up there. I wouldn't have had that much. Actually, it was up $2, and I said don't trade it. But maybe you had a way out. And now you'll see, does it hold this for a little bit? It's going to be in this penalty box for a while. Team also, that's horrible. That's just breakout and to come right back in there. That's just like, it's like, that's like having an 11 versus 6. You're like, hey, I'm going to double down. You feel good about, you playing blackjacks, and then all of a sudden you get a 4. And then you're like, okay, I want to see if he busts. Actually, you can't even get another card. Then he has a 6, like maybe he'll bust, and then he turns over a 4 underneath or a 5, and he gets a 10 and just takes your money. That's what this is. Didn't give you a way out. It started down 5 and went down 10. That does happen. It does happen. But the good book said, look at this, descending trend line, nice breakout. And now it's a whole lot of nothing. It's going to be in the penalty box for a while. I would just, now it's just, what I call that, it has to rebuild now. And if it doesn't really, bounce back over the next few sessions, who knows? Maybe it could actually break this, and that means we'd be heading lower. What was this high here? 149.80. It's just unfortunate, but that does happen. So what did that do? That knocked out the momentum traders. Fundamentally, it's still okay, and kind of regroup maybe, but it's different. Like everyone's like, oh well, didn't Microsoft do that? No, Microsoft was different. Microsoft opened above, this spot, if you remember. Couldn't hold it, so that was a short-term sell. That was like, okay, maybe Microsoft changed, but then it kind of just regrouped. Just said, oh, I needed a rest. Look where I came from, and then inside day, and then a little bit of a better inside day, and then all of a sudden worked its way higher. This team gave you a good breakout day, fooling people in, and then trapped them. And now we'll have to see what's happening here. Some guys are short this PayPal. What are you doing today? Broke this looks done. This looks like you're going to see 104 to 106 at some point as a swing trade. I know some fundamental guys think the story's broken, so do I. This was your accelerated trend that broke. This was your intermediate, and now it could work its way lower. In new issue land, we all know Beyond's coming out with numbers. I did not buy puts yet, and I'm not probably going to if it's right here. It's just too big of a premium to guess. I'll maybe trade it afterwards. I was hoping we'd get another squeeze day. What did it do so far? It came into 200 already. I don't know why this keeps putting that in there. Anyway, I don't know. It's going to be loose and wide. It's hard now to do, options because they're going to be such highly priced. But if whatever you do options. Don't sell calls or sell puts because your risk is unlimited. And in a name like this could be up 100 points tomorrow. You could say, oh, look, the 250s are $15. Let me just sell them. And then it goes to 300 tomorrow, and you're like, oh my God, I'm short from 250. It's at 300. Or, you sell the 200. You sell the 200 puts because I'm gonna get $10, and all of a sudden it goes down to 150. So just I would do options, even though there's a high premium. Maybe do call spreads, put spreads, or just wait. well, at this point, I think I'm just going to wait. We'll see. I did buy some pins options today, just because my buddy over here loves the company. I'm kidding. Anyway, I bought the 30s, thinking, you know what, if it's special, and it runs a little bit ahead of it Thursday, and it's a good report, it will probably get towards here. This was the pre-earnings run last time, and this is 31. So to buy options, for 40 cents, I thought I just would rather do that than go in the money and spend $2. And then if it happens to be really good, then all of a sudden you have a lot more. But again, I'm not really expecting much. I just kind of wanted to be involved there. This RVLV I think is interesting also. I bought some calls for earnings. This I went in the money. I think I bought the 30s for like $6 or $6.50. So it's really like owning the stock just in case, it wants to break this and continue. So those are the two new issues I'm in for earnings, with not as much equity as I was putting into Twitter or into Google or into Amazon, just a little bit, just to have the plays for it. Guys did really well with the CRWD, and at this point, actually, remember the doji I was talking to you guys about this morning? Well, look, doji leads to a sell. Well, you not only had a doji topping tail RedDog reversal here, then you could have, to get out, you could have got short. RedDog reversals can be good for sells too. What's a RedDog reversal? Well, you guys know, got above this prior peak, made a top, and then came back below. So that was your sell signal if you were long, and that was maybe like, hey, if you didn't sell, be careful, because once it breaks below this, which was 91.91, you can get downside follow through. So now it's going to change a little bit. Now it's going to be, the momentum players here were knocked out. Happens. And maybe you guys made some money short. Maybe you were waiting for this. Now what do you know? Today's low. What's today's low? Today's low is 82.65. 82.65. So I came in with Uber today. I had the stock and I had the options. The options, we bought some, sold, a third or so for a decent profit on Friday. And then this morning I was like, let me just sell some. I sold some above 45. I sold some 45.06s. I was very relaxed. I put an offer out. I'm like, let me get down to half my options. And then I didn't do it. And then all of a sudden I turned around. It was red and then got a little bit hit. So what does that mean? It just means Uber is a tough friggin' stock. I did buy a little bit more. I sold some above 45.10. If you were watching it, that was your exit once it came back below. Now where is it now? 44.21. That's not too bad. So I made some money back there. And it's just, again, the reason why I have options is because it's very erratic and trade's kind of tough. But anyway, at this point I still have options for earnings, and I'm in a little bit of stock. And the only reason why I'm in a little bit of stock still is because I sold some strength. So I waited and was patient to buy some, like 43.50 I bought some. So we'll see. With that said, it's 12:45. I'm going to head to the gym, and then I have Fox Business at 3:05, and then I'll be back by 3:30. Trade the close, do the recap, and we'll see where things are a little bit, closer to the close as far as if there's a beyond strategy or if we're just going to wait and see. Hopefully you didn't get too beat up this morning. It was definitely easy too. There was definitely a lot of misdirectional stuff, but that happens. There's not always continuities. There's not always follow through, and then sometimes there are curveballs thrown at you. Hopefully, you stepped out of the way or made a loss a little bit of a less of a loss. Where's Google now? All right. All in all, Google held in there. My options are probably close to even. And then with the little sideways action that improves, and we have a little bit more, points of reference here, then maybe we buy the stock also. So with that said, have a good lunch. Get away from the desk for an hour. See you soon.